Hey guys, what's up? This is Hex, and today I'm going to be talking a bit about of a sort of sore subject for me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have had this happen as well. But usually, if you talk about video games, whether it be at school or work or wherever, you usually talk about it excitedly. Maybe the latest game coming up, and usually you talk about it in a passionate, excited sort of way. And usually, from time to time, there's like maybe one or two people that will overhear the conversation and they'll either make fun of you or have their noses up in the air, being really pompous, going, you like video games, aren't you a little bit old for that sort of thing? And like a lot of you guys, it pisses me off really bad, especially when these people oftentimes will sit on their phone and play games, which they swear up and down is not the same thing, but it is. It's just it's just a different way of playing them. Maybe not as hardcore a gamer as some of us, but a gamer nonetheless. And you know, here recently I've been thinking about why I like video games and maybe what could be an argument for somebody who's maybe against video games. And I thought I would share with you all my insights and maybe you can maybe take something from this and apply it to a conversation when you run into somebody uh, like the people I mentioned who think, that video games are a waste of time or kids stuff. To me, uh, video games are kind of like an extension of movies. Now, if you sit there and go to the movies, the interaction that you have with that movie is that you're watching the movie. And there'll be times maybe if you've seen the movie quite a few times, you're often talk to your friend during the movie, going, "Well, what's your opinion of this?" or "How do you like this scene?" or what have you. But for the most part, it's just basically sitting there and watching. Now, for me, video games are extension of that because what you're doing is you're not only watching what's going on in a game, but you're participating in it as well as a character. Um, which I really love because there's been quite a few movies that I've liked that I was thinking, man, I wish they had a video game for it because I would love to be a particular character in that so I could like really delve into the that game and experience that world firsthand. There are a few that have did that, like a few movie titles, like the Matrix, for example. Um, but I really like that aspect of being in that world, and I don't understand why people aren't excited about that. It's like if you have a favorite movie, wouldn't you want to participate a little bit more than just watching it? Wouldn't you just like to, maybe be one of the characters? Maybe not all the time, but there might be instances where you do. Uh, like I said, especially like maybe on the Matrix or maybe some of the, like Harry Potter. Maybe you want to experience that world, by playing one of the characters. Um, but like I said, I think of it more as an extension of the movie. I also feel it in the same way. It's like reading a book, where you lose yourself in a novel, especially if it's really engrossing. And video games are a lot like that. There's been times where I feel nostalgic about revisiting a certain world, like going back and playing Silent Hill to experience that world because I love uh, that place so much, or visiting Himuru Mansion from Fatal Frame, or just anything like that, just to kind of lose myself in that world. I just really like that sort of thing. Um, Now, as far as people saying, "Oh, well, that's kid stuff" or whatever, they've did polls on people that play video games, and like the vast majority, because you might think it's mostly kids, but it's actually not. It's mostly adults that play it, especially like middle-aged adults. Especially those that have came from like the Nintendo era, like the Super NES era, and have just continued to play or maybe feel nostalgic for it and just want to go back and play some of those games. Uh, but we actually outnumber the kids by quite a bit. Uh, and you couple that with the fact that, like, a lot of these games also tackle some serious adult themes, because, some of these people that kind of like, kind of criticize, other people for playing games, they kind of see, all they see is like the Marios, which, are kind of catered towards like some of the younger crowd. Older people do play it and enjoy them, but sometimes, stuff like that, it's like for the younger crowd, and they just see that. They don't really see the other games that are, you know, the more mature games that that tackle adult subjects, like in the case of Detroit Become Human, for example, like the serious subject of child abuse, violence. Some games, have sexual content in them. Definitely stuff that's not for kids. And I think that people that normally that come out and criticize other people for playing these games are pretty much ignorant. Now, I don't mean ignorant as being stupid. I mean ignorant as in not knowing, you know, really what they're talking about. And if they had to, if we sit there and showed them these video games, they might have a different opinion. But sometimes that's a little bit hard. If it's like at work or school, obviously you can't show it to them then. But I feel if we actually sit down and explain to these people, how we feel about these things, and and what video games actually mean to us, that they're not kids things, we might be able to reach a few of these people. Maybe not all of them, because some people, they just don't want to hear it. That's just how it is, unfortunately. Yeah, you always have those closed-minded folks. But that's all I wanted to talk to you guys for today. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I hope to talk to you guys real soon. Take care.